Okay, let's pick it up right there at the solo. We've recorded a lot of incredible artists in that room. We're here in Oakland at Megasonic Studios. Engineer Jeremy Goody. It's wonderful studios. A lot of action happens in this place here in Oakland. This is one of the important studios in Oakland where a lot of wonderful music has been getting made for a long time. Our project, the Art of the Descarga, is what we're mixing now. It's a project we've been working on for a couple of years. We were commissioned actually by the Yerba Buena Gardens Festival. And each of us in the band wrote at least one tune. So it's all original compositions inspired by the descargas of the 50s, but we didn't adhere to doing them in that style, as you'll see. We took a lot of liberties. The descarga is the Cuban jam session, basically, and we think of the incredible classic recordings from the 50s of Cachao, Bebo Valdez, Julio Gutierrez, and some really incredible recordings that are really part of the canon of Cuban music, and where the intersection with jazz happens. And all of us have learned a lot from those recordings. Also having the great honor of having worked with and got to meet and become close with Cachao brings those descargas even closer to home for us. So when we got, when I came up with the idea to do this project, it was going to be inspired by that, and we did some material in that style, the old 50s kind of style. There's a lot of improvisation, which is the heart and soul of the descarga concept. It's a jam session, basically, the original ones. But there's some degree of writing. The arrangements are generally not too complex because it's more of a vehicle for interaction among the musicians, and we tried to stay true to that part. I'm a percussionist. I've been born and raised in San Francisco and come from a family of musicians. My parents were kind of more like frustrated musicians because they were not professional musicians, but they loved music. My mom sang and didn't actually do a lot of music when I was growing up. It was after, many years later, she got back into singing, and I found out that she used to sing as a child a lot, and she has a beautiful voice. But my grandparents were professional musicians on both sides. My Cape Verdean grandfather was a professional musician, and my Puerto Rican grandfather on the other side, they were professional musicians. And so I got exposure to wonderful music, Cape Verdean music and Puerto Rican music and Cuban music, because my grandfather's band from Puerto Rico, the repertoire they played was half Cuban and half Puerto Rican. Jibaro music, bomba plena, and of course son and mambo and cha-cha-cha and stuff like that. And a great group. It was a great experience for me. So I grew up in San Francisco too, and so that the music scene here quite varied. A lot of influences. The Latin rock thing was born here, and my older brothers and cousins all went to school with Carlos Santana. So before his first record came out in '68, they were already talking about this guy who was playing electric guitar with the congas and timbales, which were instruments we were very familiar with because of my grandfather, Julio Rivera, his band. They used that type of Cuban percussion. Every recording that I've done and produced, and the majority, probably 90% of the recordings I've done, have been on my own label. I formed a label in 1984 for that purpose, Machete Records, which continues today, and just for the purpose of putting my own music out, because the industry is the culprit. The industry has made it so that, there's so many records have been made, just the cheapest way to make it is to not put out liner notes. Don't put a booklet out. Don't put any information. A lot of recordings were made with no information. No year, no composer, no musicians, no singer, no information. You'd have to guess or just be in the dark. So I didn't want that to happen. for me, I understand, I've always appreciated the fact that this is a document. It's not only for entertainment, it's a document of our history and a document in our own words and in the words of our community, of our history. So it's very important to have all the information you could put out. So on my records, I've always done extensive liner notes, put out booklets, and went to the extra expense of making sure there were photos and credits and everybody was credited properly, and if a tune was inspired by certain elders, to mention that too, and really put a lot of information. You know, that break right where we stopped, let me hear it again, because I got to figure out if I'm going to play through it or play the break. So let me just hear it. Bring the drums up, please, and the checking it down. Folkways is a lot of things for me. Folkways is a school, probably first and foremost. You know, when I became familiar with the recordings that Folkways was doing, the Afro-Cuban project that Harold Corlander recorded, that is from the 40s, was just a major part of my earliest collection of that type of music. And it's eye-opening, because it was always done with a historical perspective. It's always it's got photos and there's liner notes and information. It means so much to me. So I'm trying to. That's why for me it's a great honor to have my next record coming out with the Smithsonian. And as I know there's going to be notes, and I know there's going to be, you know, some graphics and photos and to go along with it. So I know it's an accurate documentation of what we're trying to put forth, and that means the world to me.
¿Cuántas veces te he dicho que tienes que respetar a todos los que encuentras, sean ricos, sean pobres, que sean mujeres o sean hombres? ¿Por qué? Lo tuyo no va. Lo tuyo no va. Seguro que tu concepto está mal. Lo tuyo no va. Ese rumbo tiene que cambiar.